Hi, Phil Prime here, editor of Laboratory News. Using intelligence to formulate new, usable knowledge from complex information. You'd think that sounds like a perfectly reasonable description of a scientist, yet it stopped me dead in my tracks. Why? Well, because while it is a description of a scientist, that scientist isn't human. Benevolent AI, a British artificial intelligence company aiming to develop therapeutics, has begun using a purpose-built version of the world's most advanced deep learning AI supercomputer. Now, this thing isn't simply a fast computer. It will use something called a judgment-augmented cognition system in order to speed up the drug development process. The company say this is with the aim to augment rather than replace human scientists, and I'm sure that is the case for now. The work of science has, by its very nature, always been in deep concert with mechanical and computational advances. Memory, calculations, physical work, all have been augmented by technology. But thinking, the ability to use an intellect to draw together the strands of our findings in order to improve understanding, well, that has largely remained within the boundary of our own skulls. However, as the various strands of computation develop and draw together, we get ever closer to what could be realistically called artificial intelligence. Now, as it stands, Benevolent AI's new super toy could be considered a narrow AI. It essentially performs information processing. It can't actually conduct physical experiments, though this by no means renders it scientifically impotent. The company say it has already enabled breakthroughs by analysing millions of scientific articles and hundreds of medical databases. As a result, scientists are able to form hypotheses and draw conclusions faster than any human researcher could alone. Okay, so, in as far as this is a partnership, this seems a perfect solution. Not only that, I'd say solutions like this are vital. Science faces problems that in all likelihood will only be solved in this way. But how long until the hypothesis-forming human scientist is considered inefficient? The slowest cog in a machine that is under constant pressure to run ever faster? How long before the human scientist is simply the caretaker of their computerized counterpart? After all, we already have technology which can, in varying degrees, perform automated hypothesis generation and reasoning. And of course, all this runs in parallel to generalised concerns regarding AI. So I'm conscious of scaremongering here, and I'm not a computer scientist, but many leaders in the AI field are deeply troubled by the idea that artificial intelligence will leave our own behind. You'll remember no doubt the open letter written in January last year by many specialists and thinkers, including a certain Professor Stephen Hawking, urging us to all consider seriously the fact that there may be pitfalls to technologies of this type. I've heard it said that the most worrying AI isn't the one that passes the Turing test, it's the one that fails intentionally. When, or indeed if, this kind of AI becomes a pressing matter is uncertain. But it would be prudent to consider now medium-term worries on how we as a species responsibly use AI. In the meantime, for scientific discovery, AI of the type used by Benevolent AI is an incredible opportunity. Indeed, it seems uncontroversial to say that technology like this is inevitable as computer science develops. But I can't pretend not to be nervous at the idea that biological tissue might one day be no longer required to understand biology. We know AI plays better chess. Will it soon do better science? Thanks very much.